I think what your program really taught him was not just the mechanics of how to be a good catcher, but how to build confidence in the role and learn through the lessons.
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I think it helped me a lot. My name's Caleb. I'm in 5th grade, and honestly, I love playing catcher in baseball. It's like my favorite position to play.
Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Mike Isaac. I'm Caleb's father. I'm his biggest fan over on the side there.
Love it. Okay, so when you guys, before we started working together, what was the main struggle that you guys were seeing on the field?
I'll let you answer.
Probably letting the ball get past me. Well, really, you taught me a whole bunch of stuff. I'm like, my whole life is a lot. I was like, I do that? I never knew all of this stuff. I never knew to get into single knee, never go out to modified kickstand, never to put your glove down. That was the biggest one.
Yeah.
You sound like you know what you're doing.
And it's really helped me.
That's awesome. Would you do that, Mike?
Yeah, I would say confidence. I think what your program really taught him was not just the mechanics of how to be a good catcher, but how to build confidence in the role and learn through the lessons. Because he would sit in my office and watch them at the same time I'm over here working. You know, the catcher is the captain of the team. They're the leader of the team. They're the only person that gets to see everything. And I think it changed his dynamic of how he acted as a player on the field. So from time to time, he's not the catcher. Sometimes he's second base, or sometimes he's in a different position. He is still the leader, no matter where he's at on that field, just because of the skills that you taught him in the catcher position. He has taken that as, becoming almost the captain of wherever spot he's at.
That's awesome. That's so cool. And how did you guys find out about me?
Social media. Caleb was watching catcher-related items on Reels, and you started popping up his algorithm, and he said, "Oh my gosh, I need to find somebody local." And I said, "Well, maybe we don't need local. We'll figure out what we can do with this."
Yeah, totally. Had you guys ever done any sort of online training before?
No.
Not for catcher, no. I mean, of course, yeah, professionally in our career, and nothing with catcher, no.
So Caleb, got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Then, what was your biggest doubt online, working online, all that kind of stuff before you actually joined?
My biggest doubt by that.
Was there anything where you were I don't know if online would work, or I don't know if I can actually get that much better at catching? Did you have any doubts like that?
I was wondering, if you're virtual, you only get one angle, but it can't see everything going on, and you wouldn't be able to fix every little thing.
Yeah. How did we solve that?
We did it from front ways and then sideways.
Yeah. We just moved the camera, huh? Okay, so then when we started working together, what would you say that we started to implement? So in other words, what did you do as soon as you
started with stances, which it walked me through each stance, how to properly do it, and what's the purpose of that stance.
Love it. And how many times a week would you say that you practiced?
Maybe 2 times.
2 times a week? Cool.
Well, I think you've got to take into, not that I'm jumping on your answer here, but he would practice for you 2 times a week. He would practice in his he is on 2 different teams. So he's on 2 teams practicing twice a week at each team, and then he would have a couple of games in there as well too. So somehow he made a 7-day week into a 10-day week. When he's answering your question of practice, I think he's answering it dedicated to Coach Bougie.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's great. And again, that's one of the big challenges when you go to a regular practice. Unless you are just kind of lucky and you have someone who knows how to teach catching, like on your as one of the coaches of your team, a lot of times they just kind of stick you back there and they're like, all right, good luck, Caleb. Even if it's just 2 days a week, that's great. But in order to make the jumps, you really do have to have that like specific skill development. So what would you say, Caleb, come back to you? You said at the beginning you were just having balls go by, you didn't know what stances. What types of result have you seen since you've now like done the training?
I feel like I've improved a lot. Like since then, like I understand the rule more than I did. And I think that's made me better. I understand what to do. I understand.
It's awesome.
What else? What would you say you really improved on?
I'd say I really improved on blocking and receiving.
Yes. Yes, I would say that's probably your number one thing you improved on.
It's awesome.
Especially at his age. We're lucky to get a pitch in the strike zone. And so, he plays on two teams. One's an 11U team and one is a 14U team. Two very different styles of pitch. The blocking is significantly more helpful in the lane. He does quite a bit of, and I'm going to use the wrong term because I'm not in y'all's word, but where he catches the ball and dunks it down, where it's, did I use the right word?
Yeah, that's the right word. Yep, dunk on that pitch.
That's used more frequently in the 14U. And also, he's a lot smaller of a player in the 14U. In that world, some of those kids drive. I look at them; they're bigger than I am, so they almost drive. But I think that blocking has definitely been what you've improved on the most.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is such a big confidence booster from what I've seen. When all of a sudden, instead of the ball going to the backstop and you have to turn around and run and go get it, and the game stops when then it's just in front of you. Like that's so awesome. Well, now that you've gone through it, if you had to write down like the qualities of someone else who would have success in the program, what would you say? Does that make sense?
Do you know what he's asking?
No.
So if another student comes to his program, what qualities do they need to possess to be successful? So like I'll give you one example. I'll make it up because this is a basic one. Good at recording. What do they need to be good at in order to be successful? And don't use good at recording. That was a silly one.
They need to be confident, and they always have to try their best, and they can't quit. Always persevere and succeed. Also, you wanna understand what the others are trying to tell you and be open to advice.
Yeah, that's really good. Parents' perspective.
Diligent with the program. So when you do an online program, very different than practice. You'd be there, and it's if you're not there, it's noticeable. With your program, it's really easy. Online class, it's really easy to say, I'll just do it tomorrow. What we did with Caleb is he had a very specific, because our schedule was so busy, every Wednesday he had to do this, every Friday for you. So Monday after school, ideally he would have watched one each day, but our time didn't permit. So he'd watch the whole week in one sitting. Then in the car rides to the practices that he was going to, he would rewatch the videos again. So therefore, it was a little bit of kind of a rework for him. And then Wednesday and Friday were our days to record. And so we kind of literally had to schedule them for you. But I can say from a new student, being diligent with the process and being diligent with the schedule is really going to be important with this.
Yeah, totally. And that's 100% what I've seen too, because when you start working, all of a sudden now we're getting all these feedback loops. But if you stop doing the work, then you stop the feedback loop and you stop the improvement as well. Whereas like if you can just stick with the practices and commit to actually sending the videos in, then like the jumps that are really big. I think that's awesome. Cool. Any other?
Have you enjoyed it?
Yes, I've enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun, and I think it helped me a lot.
good. It's awesome. Anything from you, Mike? Or
I think it's been great. It's been good discipline for him. We started the program with you on the off season, so it was winter time, and it was really easy then. I can tell you, it is such a juggle right now. You know,
Yep.
he accidentally signed up for 2 teams, and so well, he said he has one team, and then another team asked him if he could play as a substitute. Well, a substitute turned it into like now he's trying to go to almost every practice because he's so addicted to it at this point, and so. It is a lot to juggle during season, but I think that one of the things that I think he would benefit from is figuring out an in-person type class with you. And even if that means we travel, like, you know, for everyone that may not be an option, but if you hosted something you're in LA, aren't you?
yeah, like Orange County.
Okay. So if you hosted something there, you may get 5 to 10 of us that would fly out there for a couple of days and do. I think there is something with the in-person viewpoint, and Caleb's right. I mean, you know, what we've done with changing the angle and you doing the videos and being able to go back and edit them, I think that's the best solution for the current state. But having something in person might be helpful as well too.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I mean, ultimately, there's just no like to be in person is the highest level for sure. In person with video review, like actively in between reps, like that is the best way. But you're right, for a lot of people, they just don't have access to an in-person coach, or they may have access, but they don't feel like they're like really making a ton of progress, stuff like that. But that's definitely something that I've been thinking about doing some almost like exclusive camps for people in the program too, because then they're all caught up to speed on all the verbiage and language and everything like that. And then you can like really do some more advanced stuff. Whereas if you have a bunch of people who are just kind of like starting, then, you know, then you have to kind of go down to the lower level. But if everyone's all caught up, it could be really fun.
I totally agree. I think it might be something you want to consider once they're done with the 12-week course. They have to have graduated, if you will, graduate from the 12-week course, and then they qualify to be able to come to one of your camps. And I think you price it accordingly. I mean, it should be thousands of dollars. I mean, there are football camps that we're flying to and going and doing. I mean, some of them are drivable distances, but I know that folks are flying in for these football camps. And so I think it's something you should consider.
Interesting. Cool. I will. That's because with NYBC too, it's just been super cool to meet people that you train online in person, like really fun thing. So it's definitely something that I want to do some more of. So that's a great idea.
He would definitely be up for coming over there.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. Thumbs up. I love it.